My name's Grant Miller, and I'm the Staff Sergeant of the Calgary Police Service Homicide Unit, and I'm here today to provide updates for our incidents over the weekend. The first one is an autopsy for a woman killed in a southeast shooting last week will take place tomorrow. The Calgary Police Service Homicide Unit continues to investigate the woman's death and is asking anyone with information about the incident to please come forward. At approximately 6:30 a.m., Friday, August 31st, 2012, emergency crews responded to the 100 block of Dober Meadows Close Southeast after 911 callers reported possible gunshots. Upon arrival, they discovered the body of a deceased female. The 27-year-old woman has been tentatively identified and her family has been notified. Official identification and cause of death will come from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner following Wednesday's autopsy. Detectives believe there may have been up to 8 people in the garage at the time of the shooting. Only about half of those have come forward to investigators to be interviewed. Officers are urging the remaining witnesses to come forward and contact the police. This shooting is believed to have been a targeted incident, although the victim was not the likely target. Anyone with this information on this incident is asked to contact the police. I think I'll take your questions now on this incident before we move on to the next one.
Targeted for what reason?
In this situation, I think when we use the term targeted, I think what we're doing is we're saying that it's not random. This was not a random attack. This was not a random shooting. The persons that were present at the time, this incident, I think, is in relation to those that were present and is not a random attack.
So are you able to say whether it was gang or drug related?
I think that it's fair to say that drugs played a role in this situation, and I think it's too early to say if it's organized crime related. However, drug trafficking in this city eventually does lead back to organized crime.
Can you give us any information, whether, I know you might not be able to, whether it was the case of she being caught in a crossfire or anything like that?
I think in this incident, there was a shooting at that location. It's our indication to this point that she was not the intended target. We don't believe her to be the intended target and think that it's tragic that this girl lost her life in this situation.
Have you identified any suspects?
Our investigation is ongoing, and as we continue to speak to people, it's still early yet, and we are hopefully working towards being able to identify who's responsible for this offense.
Do you know if you're looking for one?
At this time, I'm not going to speak to that.
So you said about half of the people that were believed to be in the garage have spoken to you guys?
That's correct.
So far? And the other ones, do you know who they are, or you're looking for them?
I think we believe we know who some of them are. However, it's possible that there were others that were present that we're not aware of. But having said that, anyone who was there is going to know that they were there, and we're asking them to come forward.
One of our camera operators who was there seemed to think that there were some bullet holes in the garage door. Is it a case that the garage door was being closed and someone opened fire and shots went through the closed garage door and struck this woman?
I think in this incident, it's fair to say that the forensic exam that we did at the scene is going to play a vital role in determining who's responsible for this girl's death. I think it's well documented. We won't confirm this girl's identity until after the autopsy. It's just something that we do. I think her family has, or family members have come forward to speak about who she is and who she was. It's tragic that a beautiful girl loses her life in this situation.
You mentioned she was believed to be the intended target. So are you able to say anything about the extent that you believe was the target?
Not right now.
Could you say how many shots were fired?
And again, that's part of the crime that I'm not going to speak to right now.
The victim and the other people in the garage, how many of them were known?
I don't have that information in front of me. There were people present that are known to us. So I'm sure you can appreciate, as the homicide unit, some of the community issues aren't our daily business. I think District 4 or the proper district would be able to help you maybe with questions to answers to those questions. The second one, police are seeking public assistance in relation to a stabbing incident that took place over the weekend. At approximately 3 a.m. on Saturday, September 1st, 2012, police were called to a disturbance in the 1000 block of 16th Avenue Northwest. Upon their arrival, 2 men were found with stab wounds. Both men were transported to hospital. One man was declared deceased upon arrival. Preliminary investigation indicates that an altercation took place between 2 groups of people prior to the stabbing. Police are asking anyone who was present at this incident or anyone who may have information relating to this incident to contact us, Crime Stoppers, or Crime Stoppers. And I'll take your questions on this incident.
Are you looking for more than one person?
At this crime scene, we took several people into custody to interview them. From those interviews, I think our investigation is starting to take some shape. It does appear that this incident, most of the persons present were acquaintances. And from this, and again, another unfortunate incident that happened at 3 o'clock in the morning that may not have happened in the middle of the afternoon. I think these groups were out socializing during the night and end up back at this location where an argument starts and unfortunately ends with one person stabbed multiple times and another person dead.
Do you know what this altercation was about? And when the one punched it, you were able to tell us it was about baseball.
At this time, that's truly part of what we were trying to determine, what exactly started this. Again, some of the 2 groups, there's crossover of acquaintances in these 2 groups, so we are trying to determine what exactly was the cause of this.
So is it believed that the 2 people that were injured were from separate groups but knew each other?
I'm not sure if the I know that people in each group, there is crossover, they are acquaintances. As to specifically who, not at this moment, I don't know. I believe persons from the party called the police, and our officers were driving by as it happened, and they ran into our marked unit out on 16th Avenue. So as we speak right now, we're holding continuity of that scene. The autopsy for that location is not scheduled until, I believe, Thursday morning. We won't release any of our crime scenes, fatality crime scenes, until after the autopsy. So our crime scenes team has done a tremendous job at that location, started off with close to a city block and have now worked their way into the apartment of where that happened.
So the fight broke out in the apartment?
I believe it started in the apartment and worked its way down to the ground floor and out onto the street.
Why was it such a large scene cordoned off? I saw that apartments and a restaurant in that area, the yards nearby were also included.
I think when the police attended originally, there were large amounts of blood leading from the apartment door and the apartment building and out on the street.
The witnesses that you've been able to interview so far, how cooperative?
I would say they've been cooperative.
How many people were there at this party?
It's somewhere approximately 15. Again, I think we will let our investigation lead what our thoughts are, and I have heard those comments. I can't speculate if they're accurate or not. Okay, the third incident that I will speak to is an autopsy will take place today for a man found deceased in his southwest apartment yesterday. On Monday, September 3rd, 2012, around 11:45 a.m., police were called to a home in the 600 block of 68th Avenue Southwest for reports of a deceased man. Responding officers found a man believed to be in his late 30s deceased inside his home. The homicide unit was called out to investigate, and an autopsy is currently underway to determine this person's cause of death. Investigators are asking anyone who may have been in the area earlier in the day or who may have seen anything suspicious to contact the police or Crime Stoppers. And I'll take your questions on this incident.
How were police alerted to this?
In this situation, family members attended to this location and found their loved one dead. And they're the people that called the police.
What relation were they in?
I believe it's his children.
Why does this look suspicious? Why is the homicide squad?
I think there's no obvious signs of how this man died, and that's why this autopsy is being done first. Even though it was the third one of the weekend, that's why this one's being done first, and we're counting on the Office of the Medical Examiner to help us determine how this man died, and from that it will help us determine exactly what happened to him. We spent yesterday in that apartment building interviewing residents and witnesses, attempting to determine what exactly happened. But again, we're going to wait till after the results of the autopsy come forward. We believe that's going to happen today. As I've said, so the Kingsland incident, the autopsy is today. The Dover incident, the autopsy is tomorrow. And the 16th Avenue incident, that autopsy will be on Thursday.
So he's a father. Do you have a age range on his kids, or can you tell us anything about them?
Not at this time. Not at this time. We need to see what the results of the autopsy are, I think, before we as the homicide unit go too much farther. So I think our timeline that we're interested in is midnight from Saturday to Sunday coming forward. He was found on Monday, but he may have been there for 24 to 36 hours. So we're looking for anyone in the building or anyone that had contact with him in that time to contact us. We have not been able to find all the residents of the building or people that we believed were there at the time. And that's part of what our investigation is right now, is to try to find all of those people and interview them.
Was the victim known to police or that address?
I think at this moment, whether he had a history with us or not kind of isn't relevant right now as to what happened. We need to determine how this man died. And even then, I don't think his past is going to play a role in what happened there.
Is there any evidence of foul play at all, or is it just the fact that you know how he died?
I think it's closer to there's very little evidence as to help us determine what happened. But it's unusual, and that's why the homicide unit's involved in this investigation. So, yes.
Pardon me, was there any, was this an otherwise healthy individual? Were there health issues in this person's past?
I would say no, there's no health issues related to his death that are obvious. Thanks, everyone.